And welcome back to Movies That Matter with the Viking, and today let's talk about the creator of Deadpool's comments regarding the MCU, Kevin Feige, the future of Deadpool, and Wolverine himself, Hugh Jackman. Now, the creator of Deadpool, of course, is Rob Liefeld. He also created other characters like Cable, and look, he's a very opinionated guy. He speaks what he wants to say, but I also became kind of a fan of his in the last year or so over his takes on Twitter regarding comic book characters. And even if you go back and look to 2017, he did tell us all that Warner Brothers were going to go with a Whedon incarnation of Justice League, and then people gave him shit over it and said, you don't know what you're talking about, it's going to be a Zack Snyder film. Well, 2 months later the film came out and none of it was Zack Snyder's. It was a Josh Whedon rewrite, rechange, all that. But he had some very interesting comments to say about the MCU, and he took some swipes at Kevin Feige. Now, of course, we know the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is a huge success in terms of box office, and it has a huge fan base, and it makes 2 to 3 films every single year. It made a deal with Sony to get the rights of Spider-Man and Spider-Man coming into the MCU, and that's all been successful. And now they're moving forward with their next phase without characters like Captain America, without Iron Man. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they do going forward. Personally, the next phase of MCU films for me, Black Widow, you got the Eternals, you got Shanghai, you got things like that. Me personally, I'm not too excited. You know, I'm a big Iron Man fan, I'm a big Captain America fan. I'd love to see a Hulk film, not the Professor Hulk incarnation, a different kind of Hulk. I'm looking forward to Thor 4, though I really enjoyed Thor 3, and Guardians 3. I'm also looking to see how that does well, especially with Thor being rumoured to be in that and interacting with the characters. Or is it, it's supposed to be, the Guardians might be appearing in Thor 4. We're not too sure exactly yet. But he had some interesting comments to say. And he was asked about the MCU and Deadpool and the whole thing. And he had this to say. It's the first time I go, hey Feige, did you even have a plan? Your plan was Eternals and Shanghai. That was your plan? And Black Widow? Liefeld said, so they close the door. Chris Evans says goodbye. Robert Downey Jr. says goodbye. Black Widow falls off a cliff and says goodbye. They almost lose Tom Holland to Sony. But you're a genius, Marvel. You're a genius. So those are some very strong opinions from Rob there. And it sounds like he doesn't like the MCU in general and maybe the direction they're going. And maybe he's not happy that the MCU, Disney, has the rights to kind of his character that he created, Deadpool. And they've got, currently, they haven't laid out any plans for a Deadpool 3. I've said this before on Twitter, I don't think we're going to get an R-rated Deadpool film. Look, I'd love to see Ryan Reynolds come back. I really enjoyed the first film. Deadpool 2 was absolutely brilliant. I can rewatch that film so many times. I just love it. The humor is great, the action is great. It's just a really, really good film. A lot better than the first one, even though the first one is good. But it sounds like he's not too happy. You know, I don't think things are going to be too good for Deadpool in the MCU at the moment, especially with the virus going on. A lot of things are pushed back. So Deadpool doesn't seem to be on their plans whatsoever. He might cameo in some of the films. That might be something that they want to do. But a Deadpool standalone film where he can be R-rated like he was under Fox, I don't think it's going to happen. Does Kevin Feige want a character to come into the MCU that he didn't have any say in, that he didn't create in terms of depiction on screen? Does he want a Fox character to come in and then him to play by that character's rules? I don't think so. You know, is he going to bring back any of the X-Men characters from the Fox universe? Probably not. He's going to recast everything there. Fantastic Four is going to be a complete recast, so I don't see what way they're going to work. Deadpool maybe in cameos and maybe making PG-13, but you're taking away the essence of the character. You're taking away what made him brilliant. They also went on to say more things about Deadpool. We got 2 brilliant movies, and we live in a culture that always looks forward because all they're ever selling us is next. It's the fever. For me, as the fever calms down, people just need to calm down and realize that Deadpool 1 and 2 were released within 2 years of each other, 2016 and 2018. And I just can't. I'm not really that crazy about Marvel's plan right now. So by right, we got Deadpool 1, and then 2 years later we got Deadpool 2. this year we should have been getting Deadpool 3, but of course with all the deals going on between Fox and Disney, it would have put Deadpool and other films on the back burner until that deal got complete. So if Deadpool was in production while the deal was going on, it would have been made and it would have come out in the way that it was supposed to be an R-rated film. But it didn't, and now we're left in kind of a position where we don't know what's going to happen with the character. And Robbie Liefeld, from his comments, it looks like he doesn't really care. He doesn't care about the MCU. He's not too excited for their plan going forward. So that shows me that they've got no plans for Deadpool going forward, or maybe now no plans that he really likes. And he went on to say also, I don't know. Here's what people don't want to hear, but thank God I'm a realist. I feel like Deadpool, the movies, they've set sail. So that's a really big statement to make, saying the films that the Deadpool film, we're lucky to get the films that we got with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, because going forward, that we might not be so lucky. Now maybe he knows that they have plans for Deadpool and he just doesn't like them. The plans could be cameos, the plans could be team-up films, but they will not be R-rated. They will be a different kind of depiction and incarnation of the character. Yes, he can be witty, yes, he can make jokes, but he can't go that R-rated route with Disney, and maybe that's why Liefeld is so upset. And for me, Deadpool is such a great character. You can put him in a film, you can make him cameo, and he can just be the character, and he can add an extra layer of humor. You can do different kind of action scenes with him. It's brilliant. Deadpool 2, I really admired the comedic element in it. I thought it was very good in the first one, but then they took it to new heights in the second one. They really pushed it even more, because the first one they couldn't take as much risks as they wanted to, because it was an R-rated comic book film, and it really opened the door for films like Logan. And to be honest, it did so well. So then the second one they could push they could push a little bit more. They referenced DC and Batman and Marvel a little bit more, and Thanos and things like that. And it worked really, really well. And the comedic element between Cable and then Domino and then the X-Force, that was brilliant. So Deadpool 2 is a brilliant comic book film, and I was really looking forward to seeing a third, fourth, X-Force films, the whole thing. Then of course Disney had to step in and buy them and changed all the plans. So he's not too excited, but he did have more things to say about Wolverine. He believes that Hugh Jackman isn't done as the character. He thinks that Wolverine will come back. He thinks Hugh Jackman will respire the role because nobody else can. Now, we know that Logan came out in 2017 and it did very well at the box office. It got nominated for an Oscar, and me personally, it's the best Marvel film ever made, and that includes the MCU films. It's a really kind of noir western, takes kind of elements from Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven, and also takes elements from the film that it shows in the actual film Shane. It kind of, it really was a very, even though it's about mutants and even though it's about a comic book character, it was a very deep, layered story about characters, about people, about relationships between a father and a daughter. And I thought it was the perfect send-off for Hugh Jackman as the character after playing the character for 17 years. And of course, not all the Fox X-Men films were great. Not all of his Wolverine films were great. Origins is a bad film. Wolverine is okay. I like it. But X-Men 1, 2, very good, and then 3 was poor. Days of Future Past, absolutely brilliant. Top 10 of all time, in my opinion, of comic book films. So, but I thought 2017's Logan was the perfect send-off for him. And I was saddened to see him go, because he is my probably second favourite live-action character of all time in comic book lore. And I thought we'd never see him again. And then with Disney came in, was a possibility I may got to see him. But I thought the only way that we would ever get to see Hugh Jackman come back as the Wolverine would be somehow if Ryan Reynolds could persuade him to come back and portray the character again. Now, in the future, I thought maybe a Deadpool 3 would happen and Hugh Jackman would make a cameo in that kind of way and kind of reference the Wolverine thing. But now if a Deadpool film is not in the MCU's plans, why would a Wolverine film be in their plans? Now maybe Feige has this big master plan coming up with an idea of bringing back Hugh Jackman. And look, if Hugh Jackman came back and was in the MCU, look at the money, box office, if he was to interact with characters like Thor or Spider-Man or Iron Man, whenever he does come back, because they probably will bring back Robert Downey Jr., that's just box office gold, and that's big payday for everyone involved. But I don't want him to come back and be made a joke of. I'm a big fan of Wolverine, a big fan of Hugh Jackman as an actor and as the actor that plays Wolverine. I don't see anyone else portraying him as good in the character. But him to be coming back and to be made a show of or a joke just wouldn't sit well for me as a fan. You see in Avengers Endgame what they did with Thor, what they did with Hulk, making a Professor Hulk, making just kind of stupid humour that I didn't like whatsoever. I liked Avengers Infinity War, but Endgame was just a big letdown in terms of character personalization and what they did. And I'd be fearful if Hugh Jackman did come back and they put him in a film like Thor, I don't know what film they put him in, and they just made a joke of him again. I want him to come back and be a badass, add an extra layer, add an extra different kind of realism to the MCU that is lacking. You know, Bob revealed that he's a big fan of Wolverine, and he was asked who should play Wolverine in the MCU, and this is what he had to say. I was only doing Deadpool to get to Wolverine. Like, Wolverine was always the goal. You understand Deadpool. He comes from the Weapon X program. He has a healing factor. He shares a history with Wolverine. Did I not just kind of put the blueprint down and lift it and go, hello? And the whole time Marvel's like, yeah, Rob, whatever you want. That's good. Thumbs up. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm getting to do this. So I can't answer your question about Wolverine. I'm stuck on Hugh Jackman. I hope to God he comes back. I do. You know what? He's been seriously firm that he is not going to be Wolverine, right? And I foolishly don't believe him. And I'm a bit like that too. I kind of don't believe Hugh Jackman. I believe that he'd love to come back and be the character again in some capacity, in some way, because he always used to make cameos in the other films, like X-Men First Class and Apocalypse and things like that. So I definitely love to see him come back in some capacity. I think if the X-Men banner was still with Fox, then I think there could be a better possibility of him coming back. But as I said, I don't want him to come back. I thought it was the perfect outing, the perfect let go. But Rob doesn't reveal that he knows anything here at all. He's not saying, he's not leaking anything that Hugh Jackman has been in talks with Marvel or the MCU or whatsoever, anything like that. He does kind of downplay Deadpool films happening, so he knows something. He knows something there. And if that's the case with Deadpool films not happening, then Hugh Jackman is probably not going to be happening as Wolverine again. You know, because Hugh Jackman had, when he was talking about it before, he said somebody else would pick it up and run with it. It's too good of a character not to. It's kind of like you're on your way home and your friends ring you and goes, oh dude, a new DJ just came on, the music is awesome, are you going to come back? And you say, sounds good, but no, they're fine with someone else. So he has closed the book, and we've known that for a long time. It's just us being foolish fans wanting him to come back. But I thought that Deadpool 3 was the huge possibility. But now if Deadpool 3 is not happening, then is that going to happen? Now, Rob Liefeld had another controversial thing to say. He said that Ryan Reynolds shouldn't make Deadpool 3 a priority. You know what he should make a priority? Green Lantern. Now, Green Lantern came out in 2011, and it was poor. Yeah, poor. Now, Ryan Reynolds has been a good sport. Over the years, he has cracked jokes at his portrayal of Green Lantern and of the film. Now, to be honest, he isn't a bad Hal Jordan. You know, with a better script, he could be great. He really is great in anything. The script was poor. I heard that they were rewriting scenes on set and stuff like that with Jeff Johns there, and they were just making it up as they go along, really. They went into production without a full script to look at and to go off. So it was just really a mess of a film, and I didn't do that well. So, you know, because he had a rough time, Ryan Reynolds. He was Deadpool in X-Men Wolverine Origins, and that was a poor film. And he wasn't really Deadpool in that film. They went to Green Lantern, and that was poor. But he finally got things right in 2016 with Deadpool. But Rob Liefeld had this to say. Isn't that the truth? You know what I would love? You know what I would love? I would love for Ryan Reynolds to be Green Lantern again. More than him to do Deadpool 3. I would love to see him. Look, Deadpool 1 and 2 are like two halves of a perfect whole. You can see them as video game characters and toys and all that. But when actors like Josh Brolin and Zazie Beetz are Domino and Cable with Ryan, it's mind-blowing. But I feel like that was a moment in time. But after all this fighting, Ryan got his vision and followed up with a sequel so fast. So he's kind of saying, look Ryan, you got your two Deadpool films, that might be it. Go and give Green Lantern a crack again, you know. Would I like to see Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds again? I would, but only if it was a better script with better people behind it. And look, he could be great in anything. He really could. Ryan Reynolds is a talented guy. He can do dramatic. He can be really funny. I can't wait for that new film he's coming out later this year. Free Guy or something it's called. I think it looks very funny. But I'm disappointed if a Deadpool 3 doesn't happen. I'll even say, okay, let it be an MCU film, but please give it an R rating. Please let it be what it was, because those two films are great in its own capacity. But look, I have to be realistic with myself, and I have to be realistic with you. Is a Deadpool 3 going to happen under the MCU and be an R-rated film in the capacity that it was with Fox? I highly doubt it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope one of you can come and say, Viking, you were wrong. You were wrong. You got that completely wrong. And I would go to you and I would say, thank God I was, and thanks for telling me. Because, look, those films are very good. Very good. But then, if you put that into the MCU, and you put that beside a film like Captain Marvel, or Thor, or Captain America, but that's what we want. We want different kind of comic book films. I was a big fan of seeing Sony do their Spider-Man films, Fox do their X-Men films, Disney do their MCU films, DC do their films, because they're all kind of different. Marvel had their formula, DC had their thing. You know, it was all different. It wasn't repetitive. But now we just have Marvel and we have DC, and they're both different, but comedy and a formula-like thing. DC, I've always liked DC a little bit more because you never know what you're going to get. You get that kind of comedy, kind of Marvel, kind of like Shazam. Shazam's not a full Marvel film, but kind of in elements. Then you can go dark with a Joker film. Then you can go and you can do a Batman versus Superman, a Man of Steel, a Wonder Woman. The dynamic is very different, and the transition from each film is very different. The MCU, you know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get a very subpar villain. You're going to get your character looking well in a cool suit, giving them cool one-liners and being funny with side characters. And they feel a little bit of struggle and they're just down a little bit, but then they get back up really quickly. We don't get to see that deepness with the characters in the MCU. We don't get to see that struggle, that real raw emotion with the MCU characters. There were elements with Tony Stark in the MCU, but they only touched on it and then they killed him off. If you look at DC, then very different. You can have Bruce Wayne, you can have him be a very dark, very mysterious character. You can have him go through struggles just like Clark Kent, just like Wonder Woman, and things like that. So that's why I've always kind of leaned towards DC more. I like both, but I want to see more kind of unique, different films. When you make a film like Joker, that feels like real cinema. It looks like it's outside the box. It looks like it was done to step away from comic book films. And that's what you kind of want. You want something different. Of course you want the fun ones. You want the ones to go and have a good time with the family and crack jokes and things like that. That's always going to happen. That's the good ones, but I want a little bit more. And Deadpool was one of those things that you go and have a good time. A really, really good time, and be really, really raw. But anyway, guys, let me know what you thought of Rob Liefeld's comments regarding Kevin Feige and the future of the MCU, on the future of Deadpool 3, on Wolverine and Hugh Jackman coming back. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Come follow me on Twitter at MovieBuff100. Come follow me on Instagram at MoviesThatMaherwtheviking. And you'll also find me on Facebook at Zack Schneider's Justice League. Until next time, guys, stay positive.